Good morning, good afternoon or good evening everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another installment in the Sydney Railroad build. In the last construction video I reached a major milestone and got the main circuit open for operation all the way around. But there's still a lot of track to lay. There's two major areas I haven't started yet. That is the main yard and the ethanol plant. So without further waffling, let's just get the camera car put away and continue laying track. Although the main line loop is now finished, there's still a lot more track laying to go. This morning I'm going to start at this end of the yard. I'm going to get the next two turnouts in, which are currently just positioned approximately. And then I'm going to lay the AD tracks. And that is all the code 83 in this area. After that I can switch to code 70. There's a lot of track in the yard. It's going to take quite a while to do it. I do of course have to put all the feeders on as I go so I can hide them underneath the rails. I'm just going to turn the camera off, get to work, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, I've now installed those two turnouts I talked about, and I have finished laying the AD tracks all the way to where I left off the other day. About here where the weights end is where I ran out of rail joiners a couple of weeks ago. So that is all the code 83 in the main yard area. I've got a couple more pieces missing down here. Now that I have some suitable sized offcuts, I'm going to continue that to the end of track, and then all the code 83 will be done except for the ethanol plant, which will be a later project because I haven't even got the sub-road bed in for that yet. It's still fairly early in the day, even though I had to go out and do some errands. I've still got plenty of time left today. So after laying those last two little bits of track, I'm going to go inside and print out a track plan with all the turnouts identified, so I know exactly which turnout goes where. So let me get on with that, and I'll talk to you again later. That is the next 16 turnouts, positioned approximately where they go. It's mostly number 8s and 7s with one number 10. For some reason, the alignment of the front yard ladder ended up slightly different from what was plotted. It's no big deal. It's just going to be about an inch further forward than anticipated, which means that the yard tracks are going to be a few inches longer. Doesn't really make any difference. This turnout in the middle of the frame now is going to have to be cut in half to span a benchwork joint. It's not difficult. I've already showed you how I do those before. And the trick is to make sure that the cut is between the frog and the heel of the switch points. So anywhere between the two copper ties that you can see either side of the frame now. The next task is to work on this crossover, and that's going to take the longest because I have a transition from code 83 to code 70 rail. I've also got a power district boundary and a change in elevation. So that one's going to take me a while, and then after that I've got to trim the next number 8 at the benchwork joint. My next task is to get those two installed, and then I can work outward from there. So I'm just going to turn the camera off, and I'll talk to you again before the end of the day. Well, that is those next 3 turnouts permanently installed, and as expected, it has taken me most of what was left of the afternoon. I knew it was going to take a while, especially this one. Anyway, I am going to leave that glue to set up, go nice and hard, so that I don't disturb these turnouts. And I'm just going to go in now, and I will come back out again tomorrow morning. I'll see you then. First thing I did this morning was to remove all the weights, and I've now prepped the next 3 turnouts to go in. That is the number 10 turnout just the other side of that plain piece of track, and the number 8 in the middle near the tape, and the number 7 by the glue bottle. The next thing I've got to do is take that number 8 inside, cut it in half so that it can be installed across a benchwork joint. I've still got to drill the holes for the switch machine rods, and then I can get the feeders on and get them glued in place. Just going to turn the camera off, get back to work. I'll talk to you again later. Well, I've now permanently installed those 3 turnouts that I was working on earlier. And then I went back in this direction, got 2 pieces of plain track installed, and this curved turnout leading to the paper mill. And then I came back in this way and installed 2 more at this end. It's after 1 o'clock, so I really need to go in, get some lunch, take a break. But before I do that, I've just noticed that I missed the rail joiner here. So I've got to work on that, getting that fixed. It won't take long. I've just got to finag it a little bit with a pair of needle nose pliers. Well, this is what this morning's work looks like with all the weights removed. Most of the turnouts are in, as far as where you can see now. I think before I continue laying more turnouts at that end, I'm going to come back and fill in all the plain track in this corner, get that area finished. All those spurs have their turnouts already installed, so I can put those 5 in now. I do have to be a little bit careful. Originally the 3 tracks in the diesel service area were for the yellow section, but 2 of them are going to have isolating sections, so I'm going to be putting a different coloured sub bus in. So I've changed those colour designations now. You may notice that I had to do it twice because I got it wrong the first time. But I'm now fairly confident that those colours will work without duplicating anything else in this area. So I'm going to get back to work, get some more track prepped for this area, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, that is those 5 backwards facing spurs installed. Still got a bit of time left today, so I'm going to move back down to the yard ladder again, continue there. I think by the time I've prepped the next couple of turnouts, I should be able to remove the weights from the plain track and get these glued in place. So that is the plan for the rest of the afternoon. I'll talk to you again later. Well, I ran into a bit of a problem with what should have been a very straightforward turnout. This one here in front of the camera. To keep the alignment of this yard ladder, really the throw bar needs to be right in the middle of that no-go area where the bracing is underneath the railroad. I thought I could get away with just shortening it a little bit, but then when I go around the end of the peninsula, if I stand here, I don't know whether you can see it on the camera, but it certainly notices that it's not straight. And I'm not sure whether I like that. Well, I don't like that. What I can do is take this number 8 out and put a number 10 in its place. That will allow the switch machine to be the other side of that framing. The only trouble is I don't have any code 70 left-hand number 10s in stock. This is a right-hander, which I put upside down and use to test the alignment, and it works. So I'm not going to be able to get these 2 turnouts installed today. I'm going to go inside and build the number 10 turnout that I need for there. So I guess I'll sign off for the day, and I will see you tomorrow. Well, that is the modified arrangement with the new number 10 turnout put in there to replace the number 8 that didn't quite work. If I look at it from the end of the peninsula, the alignment's now perfect. And as you can see, the switch machine misses the no-go area. It will have to be turned backwards, but that's no big deal because it's not a crossover. The switch machine location for the second turnout near the drill has not changed. Next thing I've got to do is cover over the other hole for the old number 8 and then drill a new hole for the new number 10. And then after that I just need some feeder wires and I can get those 2 permanently installed. So let me just turn the camera off, get back to work, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, after getting these 2 turnouts installed, my intention was to move along the back and get the next pair. But I've had to have a slight change of plan because the way I marked out the track plan, that turnout that you see now would have been slightly across the benchwork joint, but not far enough to be able to cut it in half like I did the last one. The benchwork joint would have gone right through the switch points, so I had to move it back a few inches.
and that resulted in the curve to the rear industry under all that paper being a little bit too sharp for a number 7. So I had to substitute a number 6 there, and I don't have any code 70 right-hand number 6s. I have a code 83, which I used as a test to make sure that it worked, and it does. There it is. It fits quite well in that location, but obviously I'm not going to cut that one because that will be used elsewhere. That is earmarked for the ethanol plant. So rather than continue with those turnouts at the back, I have worked out the yard ladder at the front. If you remember a couple of days ago, I said that this front ladder had to be moved slightly. You can see the line at the end. That originally was the front edge, but now I've got the turnouts where I like them. And I've just used some flex track to mock up where the yard tracks go. I've marked these 4 turnouts at the front. I'm now going to take everything apart and prep them so that I can get them installed. So I'm going to turn the camera off, get back to work, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, that's those 4 turnouts for the yard ladder installed. It's still pretty early, it's not even noon yet, but I think I'm just going to go in, take early lunch, and then by the time I come back out I can remove all the weights and continue with the plain track. Well, that is all the plain track laid along the yard ladder, and also all 6 tracks throughout the next 7-foot section of parallel classification tracks. I haven't done the thoroughfare track at the back yet because I still need a turnout in there, and I've still got to build that number 6. Actually, I've got to build 2 right-hand number 6 turnouts because I need one further down as well, and I don't have that one either. It's still really early in the day, but I'm going to go inside now. I'm just going to build those 2 number 6 turnouts, and that will probably take me to the end of the day. Well, it's been a while since I've been out here. I had to go out of town, so it's been more than 2 weeks since I've done anything on this project. I left off working on the other end of the yard, and this morning I have moved down to this end near the engine terminal. But I moved my tools around to the back of the section because the yard ladder is towards the back and it's a lot easier to reach from this side. So far I have prepped the first 5 turnouts of the yard ladder. I ran into a bit of a problem here because I've got the main support joist, which is 3 inches wide at this point, and that was right where the turnouts ideally wanted to be. I don't know why I managed to make a mistake during marking out, but I had to adjust it. You can see now they're one each side. I also moved this turnout down closer to the one from the AD track where the locomotive is parked, and I replaced the number 8 with a number 10 because it fitted better. It gave me better alignment. Anyway, I am now happy with the alignment of those 5 turnouts. Next thing to do is to move the turnouts out of the way, get the holes drilled for the switch machines, then I can install feeders and get them glued down. So I'm just going to turn the camera off, get back to work, and I'll talk to you again later. Well, those 5 turnouts are now permanently installed. The last one at the end of the ladder, that one you can see now, was a bit of a problem because it turned out that the switch machine was right over a joist, so I had to modify the benchwork underneath. As I'm around the back at the moment, I can't show you. I'll try to remember to take a photograph of it later. Anyway, the next task is to hook up some yard tracks. I'm going to start with the back 2 from that last turnout, connect them up with what I did a couple of weeks ago, and then just gradually work my way forward. Well, I did manage to get most of this end of the yard installed before I ran out of grey feeder wire. I just underestimated how much I needed. I didn't order it in time, but I have some on order now. Anyway, last time I came out here, I went all the way along underneath, and I have hooked up all the feeder wires to the bus wires all the way along. So the wiring is now caught up with the track laying. I don't really want to start installing switch machines now until I am able to finish all of them as one operation. So while I wait for the wire to arrive, I'm going to leave the yard area and get on with something else.
Well, that's all for this week's instalment. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful or interesting or both, and I hope to see you back next week, where I will continue where I left off. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye for now.